I think it's been really, what's the word? Like overhyped having a hoe phase nowadays. Like
bars.
Especially it's like as soon as you break up with someone, for girls, it's very much like, oh, don't worry, we'll go out like hoe phase, yay. I'm like, but maybe it's just me because I don't want to go out and pull a different guy every week because that's just boring. Like it takes too long. Like
I love how you like it takes too long for you, and for guys that's a graft.
Literally, I was about to say, like, you want me to have to dress up and look good every weekend to like try and pull. No, can't bothered.
What do you think the attraction is? I know what the attraction is for guys. What do you think the attraction is for girls to kind of be doing that, kind of going out, hooking up with different guys and stuff?
I think it almost, with some people at least, makes them almost feel superior. It's like, well, look at me, I can go out every weekend and everyone wants to get with me, so I must be the best looking. Like,
okay.
Do you know what I mean? It kind of makes them, it makes you feel good. Validates
their desirability. Yeah,
that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
that was the right way to phrase that.
Yeah.
It makes them think, oh, I'm desirable. Like everyone wants to be with me, especially if you have just broken up with someone. Like,
of course, yeah. Or if they've broken up with you.
Yeah,
even more so.
Oh yeah, even more so. Like,
100%.
Even in my experience, of course, there's been times where a relationship has ended for me and I've been like, yeah, I'm going out. Like,
get attention.
Straight on the phone to my mate. I'm like, can we go for a drink? Like pub, club, bar, wherever. All of them at once. Don't care. And if someone does then come up to you, it's like, haha, like to your ex kind of thing. It's like, well, if you don't want me, all these people here do. So
yeah, I get that.
Do you know what I mean? It can very much be like that. It's
I think if I was going to be honest, I think the mistake sometimes girls can make in terms of going out, hooking up with a different guy every other week because it validates their desirability. A guy willing to have sex with you is not validation for
no,
him.
Not
that's validation for him.
Yeah.
It's not validation
I agree
for
with
that. Because, you know, girls are the gatekeepers for physical intimacy. Guys are gatekeepers for emotional intimacy.
Yeah.
So if every guy's trying to put a ring on it, that's validation.
Yeah,
if every guy's
fair.
like, I want to commit to you, give my everything to you, that's different. But a guy just approaching you because he thinks you're really hot, i.e. he wants to have sex.
Yeah.
That's not real validation. Not really. Because to be honest, like a lot of guys, they'll just have sex with anything. I won't even lie to you.
Anything with a pulse.
Honestly.
If a tree had a pulse, it needs to look out.
If a tree has a hole, a guy has
especially if they've been to a club beforehand. Like, you give a guy alcohol.
Do you know what I mean? But don't women know that though? Or do they think, do most girls think, oh, if a guy wants me like physically, then that does validate how desirable I am?
I'd love to back the girlies here and be like, no, we know. Like, we're not that stupid. Like,
sure.
However, I do think...
Yes, but.
Literally, it is a yes, but.
Sure.
I think, especially if you've gone through something like a breakup.
Yeah.
You're kind of blindsided. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you've been through that, you're so upset because someone's just broken up with you and you go to a club and you start getting attention from someone else.
Yeah.
It's like, almost like giving your ex the middle finger. It's like, haha, like.
Yeah. You didn't want me, but someone else does.
Yeah, you didn't want me, but look at that. I can jump straight on to the next thing.
Something else.
And it's obviously not my fault that we broke up because people in here like me. I think especially in that situation, girls get blindsided by it. If it's just you've not been in a relationship for a while and you're out on a Saturday night and as the night progresses, people are trying to get with you and that, I think then you're more aware and are like, well, you're just drunk and want to have sex. So go for a walk. Like, no.
100%.
But I think there is those times where if you've just been broken up with, even if something like bad's happened, could have fallen out with a friend, whatever, you've gone
even
out
just
for a reason.
Her falling out with one of her friends, she'd be like, I'm going to go out and get some.
Maybe if when girls go out and get drunk, especially if it's for a coping reason.
Then wow, that's sometimes
girls will just be like, whatever. Let's go on then. Like,
yeah.
give me some validation. It makes me feel good, makes me feel attractive. So
Yeah, of course.
let's do it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I guess even with friends, that does make sense. It's interesting because it's funny how I feel like women get blinded by attention and men get blinded by sex a lot of the time. I think a guy can be like, oh, because the sexual chemistry is really good, I'm in love with it. It's like, no, you're not.
Wait till that passes.
You're not, because when you get used to it and then you start to see who the person is,
then
you're like, oh, okay, this isn't compatible for what I thought.
Yeah.
Or this isn't suitable. And I guess sometimes, a lot of the time, if a girl's not that attracted to a guy, but he gives her so much attention and validation as to almost compensate, then maybe she can get blinded by that. And, you know, to be fair, if she gives a guy a chance, I think most girls should give more guys a chance. That would help them. Yeah. Because there are a lot of great guys who just don't, like, maybe they're not 6 foot, they're not on in the most. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's personality, for me at least.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, no matter what anyone says, looks are involved.
Sure.
Because you've got to have that initial attraction.
Yes, I agree.
To somebody.
I agree.
In some sense.
Yes.
But the way to really win me over, at least, and even with a lot of girls, it's personality. Like, you could be the best looking guy in the world. If you've got an awful personality, you're really boring, you're really dull, everything like that, I'm going to be like, well, you're no fun.
I think I agree with that. I think what it is that the hardest part for guys is getting the opportunity.
Yeah, to get to that point
where she gives the space where he can show his personality.
Yeah.
Because it's like, look, he could be the best person in the world, but if you can't get on a date with her, it counts for nothing.
Oh, 100%. Do
you know what I mean? Yeah,
you've got to be able to...
Have you ever kind of been not sure about whether you're attracted to a guy, but then his personality made you attracted to him? Or have you always only really given guys a chance where you're like, no, I am attracted to you, so then I'm open to getting to know you?
No, I've dated some questionable people in my time.
Okay. What made you give them a chance?
Personality. Like, a lot of the people I've dated, I've met through work or friends, shows, things like that.
Sure.
That's how I've met them.
Yeah.
So it has been the fact that I've got to know their personality, and that's what's kind of drawn me in. Like,
so you're already in an environment where you could see who they were.
Yeah. As
opposed to like on a bar night out and they're approaching you.
Exactly. I don't really get approached on nights out.
Yeah, most guys don't approach that much anyway.
I can't say that I think I've been approached like twice in my life.
No.
I'm not even kidding you.
No, I don't believe that.
Maybe really? I'm scary. I don't know.
Really?
People always say I've got a resting bitch face.
Oh, maybe that's why. They think they don't have a chance. That's why they don't approach you.
Maybe.
Damn. Have you ever approached a guy before?
No, I don't think so.
No? Would you?
Yeah, potentially. Okay. If I got like almost like a good signal. Do you know what I mean? Like your typical film thing of like, if I look over and see someone's good looking.
Yeah.
But I can kind of clock them look at me as well.
Yeah.
Then yeah, maybe I would.
But you go out and you see guys looking at you though. Yeah,
sometimes.
So how come you've never approached them?
I'm scared.
So is he. No, I get that. I think, do you know what's funny? Women are more scared to approach, but if they approach, they'd be way more successful than guys.
Probably,
way more successful. Way more. Because one, the guy's never expecting it. So like if you approach a guy, like, hey, like I thought you were really cute. Like, let's get a drink. He'll be like, wait, you talking to me? Really? You're talking to me? And if I'm being honest, it's very unlikely that she would be mistaken for a sexual predator. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
She's not gonna be like, I don't think a guy has ever, probably not ever. No, I'm gonna say ever. I don't think a guy has ever called a woman a creep who approached him. Maybe a stalker. That could be a thing.
If
I mean,
yeah, or an ex maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess like her just approaching him on a night.
Yeah.
Even if he's not attractive, if he's not attracted to her rather, he's still be like, oh, like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like she made the move, like respect. Do you know what I mean? Because that is hard.
I do wonder sometimes if I don't get approached as well, because when I'm out, I'm still quite sensible.
What do you mean?
If my friends watch this, they're going to be laughing and be like, she is not sensible. Leave it out,
Leave
Charlotte.
it in the comments below.
Yeah.
Tell us what she's really like.
They'll all be like DMing videos of me like passed out in the street.
And this is where she
This
fell
is
asleep on the
sensible?
street. We're like, what?
But as in, even if I am quite drunk, quite tipsy, whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the acting training. I can hold it together quite well. Like,
Okay.
from a distance, you wouldn't know how drunk I am, kind of thing. Even my friends say it to me. A lot of them have been like, especially the next day, they'll be like, I did not know that you did not seem that drunk last night. Like, you hold it together quite well. So I wonder if that's why, if I am at a bar, guys don't come over. Not to give guys a bad rep, but
sure,
if a guy's going out just looking to have sex with someone, they're probably going to go for someone that's a bit more tipsy,
a bit looser.
Yeah, that's not going to reject them as quick.
Sure, that's a fair point.
Whereas
maybe
if
that's a factor, yeah.
There's a girl stood in the corner with a resting bitch face that looks quite sober.
Yeah.
You're probably thinking, oh.
Probably less of a chance.
Yeah.
That's true. But, you know, I've never, and I'm not even just saying this, and my friends are the same. Like, I've never, if I think a girl is drunk, that would make me go, I'm not going to approach her.
Red flag kind of thing. Because it's like.
Or even, honestly, not even just a red flag. It'd just be like, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm the guy that she slept with because she was just drunk and she would never choose me sober. So even like an ego thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be more worried if I was a guy that the rape card would
100%. She'd be like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. Whatever.
Waking
I'm
up
like,
the next
that's
morning
just not.
and she goes, who are you?
Dead. Run.
I'd be like, I don't know who I am. I'm out.
100%. No, that's so true. That's so true. And it's interesting though, because if a guy is drunk, that's never looked at the other way. I
do think there's different standards. 100%.
Yeah, when a double standard's okay. I'm not saying that's not okay, but when a double standard's okay.
Oh, oh God, I'd need like a. Can you give me some situations I can tell you yes or no?
Okay, let's start with that. Like, guy and a girl, they're both drunk.
Mm-hmm.
They both end up having sex. Neither of them really remember. Should he, because he's the guy, should there have been more of an onus responsibility on him to make sure that she had her wherewithal? Or do you think that it was more kind of equal? Like she should be aware of him as her? I
think it's definitely more equal.
Okay.
Because if you're both drunk, it's not. It's not like someone's sober and
Very
knowingly taking advantage. If it's you're both drunk and having sex.
Yeah.
One, you probably should have thought that through a little bit. But I also think it would be different as well, depending on if they're in a relationship or not. Like if it's just someone you've brought home from a club.
Yes.
Bit dodgy on both parts.
Sure.
You've brought a complete random home. Like
yeah.
You don't know how that's going to end.
Very true.
As in, who's going to wake up the next morning and say, "Oh no, I was sober," or "I don't remember. I don't know who you are." Kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you're in a relationship and you've gone out, you've had a few drinks together, you've had a good night, you've come back, you've had sex, and then you wake up the next morning and you're a bit like, I don't really remember much.
That's
just a bit like, did we? Like,
yeah. That'd be worse. You're in a relationship, you wake up like, who are you?
Could you imagine?
Like the past 8 months. That's so funny. Okay. What's another? Okay, the cliche double standard. Body count. If a girl has a high body count, you know, it's kind of, a guy's like, didn't sure if I want to go there. But if a guy has one, women are less likely to, they're not less likely to deter them from the guy. They might if he's a bit of a dog, a bit of a player, but generally speaking, guys have a harsher standard with that.
Yeah, I think it depends on how high the number is for both parties. Like,
I think that's fair
for guys
actually.
and girls.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
If I was chatting to a guy and he was like, oh, I don't know, body counts 10, whatever, I'd be like, okay, well, that was 10 people before me. As long as you've not got anything.
Very true.
Fine. But if he was like to me, oh, it's over 100, I'd be like, pardon?
Yeah.
Sorry, that just doesn't give off good signals kind of thing, especially depending on their age. Like,
very true.
If you're like, I knew a guy that, just a friend, like mutual friend.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, my body count is over 100.
Wow.
And he was about 21. And I was thinking, pardon? Like,
well, 100%.
Like,
what do you think that says about the guy?
Bit of a dog, bit of a man whore, if I'm being honest.
I think this sounds mean, but I'm just going to say it plainly. That just sounds like you have very low standards. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah. Because you're not telling me all 100 of them.
There's no way not all 100 of them are absolute stunners. No way. Sorry.
Not at all.
No.
So.
I hear that.
And I think should be the same for a girl as well. If it's outrageously high, yeah, all right.
What's outrageously high for a girl?
I'd say around the same if we're putting 100? It in. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think quite high, depending on your age as well. If you're
depending on your age, yeah, that's true.
Even if someone said to me now at the age of 20 or something, oh yeah, my body count's 50, I'd be a bit like,
yeah, that's high.
You've worked quick. Like,
yeah,
you've worked quick.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I'd get that if a girl that was 20, 21, her body count was 50 plus. Yeah. And she said that to a guy and he was like, yeah,
I'm out. Is there such a thing? If a guy was like, let's say you're 20, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you met a guy who's 26 and like he's attractive, etc. And let's say, I don't know how the whole thing of how many people have you been with comes up. And he's like, yeah, I've only been with one girl. And he's been single for like the past 5 years. Would that make you think anything? Like, is there such a thing as almost too low for a guy?
Not sexually, I wouldn't say. Because if he's only been with one girl, he could have had sex 100 times just with one girl.
True.
Like, that's not...
But that's why I said he's been single for the past 5 years.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like the thing of when a guy says, oh, I've never had a relationship before.
Yeah, sure.
That kind of makes me go, oh,
why?
You sure you want me to be the one to take that for a test drive? Like, for one, fair but point. Also, yeah, why?
Yeah.
Why haven't you? If you've just not, and you've not wanted one, you've not been in the right place, okay, fair. But also, if this is going to be your first relationship, what are you going to be like in the relationship?
That's a good point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've not had past relationships that they've learnt things from and the do's and don'ts in certain situations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's
definitely.
almost like you're almost going to be teaching them. I know that sounds horrible. And for some guys, that's probably not the case at all. Like, they'd be fine.
Yeah.
But I think if you've had relationships before and you feel a bit more experienced and more mature in relationships than them, and they've had no one, it's going to be a bit difficult to...
I get that. I think, I'll be honest, I think that's, when I say a double standard, not even necessarily a bad way. I think if a guy was with a girl and she had never had a relationship and she'd only slept with, well, I guess, would she have slept with many people she'd never? Let's say if she hadn't had that much experience, I think guys would be like, cool, I'm happy to kind of teach her along the way. But yeah, I think girls generally, they want a guy typically who's maybe at least more mature, more experienced, so that she doesn't feel like she has to teach him.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like a lot of girls go for older guys as it is, just because of the maturity level. Like,
yeah, no, that's a fair.
It sounds horrible, but that
true.
is, that's a proven fact that girls mature quicker at a younger age than guys do.
I do agree with that. I do think though that sometimes we associate with wanting commitment with maturity, and that's not always the case.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's like, oh, well, if you don't want a commitment, that means you haven't matured yet. And it's like, not necessarily. And just because you want commitment doesn't mean you're mature.
It depends on the person. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.